Hi, this is DrClyde, and this is step 6 of optimizing your sports nutrition in this mini course. We're going to take a quick look at supplements and then my top 10 sports nutrition myths. We're going to bust those myths in rapid succession. And when it's everything from protein's critical to you don't need much, carbohydrate is the only thing you should eat, to wait a minute, let's not eat any. Let's avoid fats. Now, wait a minute, fats are really important for health, right? So extremes tend to be the myths that we're going to bust. So first and foremost, food is your essential central component to nourishing your body, not supplements. In fact, if a supplement helps you, it's a red flag that your nutrition is deficient. And probably if you tried 10 different supplements, you're going to get more red flags. So as soon as you get a red flag that you're low on something, start looking at your nutrition to see what else you might also be low on. Because finding supplements that are helping you is like whack-a-mole, where you keep trying to find something different. You don't know if this one is really helping you or not. Maybe it's placebo. Maybe you need 2 or 3 things. Pretty soon you're consuming 20 different things and you don't even know if any of them is helping you. And you don't even know what the purity on half of them is. And there's oxidation. So if it's a powder or a tablet with antioxidants or other complex molecules, oxygen will break those down. And so by the time you get it off the shelf, who knows how much oxidation or breakdown has already occurred. But let's just assume you've got a supplement, whether it's vitamins, minerals, or antioxidant supplement, vitamin C supplement. Let's assume that the purity level is fine. What does the American College of Sports Medicine, International Society for Sports Nutrition, International Olympic Committee say? Well, the ACSM says no need for supplements unless there's a health issue, and that would be on a recommendation from your doctor. Like, you're low on this, you could consider supplementing with that. For vegans, you can consider iron, calcium, vitamin D, and B12. B12 will eventually deplete. B12 is made primarily by bacteria, which is higher in animals. But fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, yogurt, if you're a vegetarian, well, you wouldn't eat that if you're vegan, the sauerkraut would work. Those will have B12. The ISSN and IOC recommend against antioxidant supplementation because of research with athletic individuals showing that if you have typical doses of vitamin C and or vitamin E, that this shuts down endurance adaptation. It reduces your VO2 max and potentially your lactate threshold because it hinders adaptation to that training. And so what has come out in the research already for over a decade in humans and before that in rodents is that the free radicals that are generated in exercise trigger training adaptation for a greater endurance in your cells. And if you come and rescue your muscles too quickly with antioxidant supplementation, that the free radicals that are generated don't trigger that response in gene expression to increase endurance adaptation. So it's very much like a flu shot where getting parts of a virus makes your immune system stronger. It actually helps you. So a small amount of a bad thing helps you. The same is true with free radicals. The small amount of free radicals from your workout actually helps you, and you want it to go to work on your DNA, and then come rescue your muscles later, either with vitamin C or an antioxidant supplement, or better, a salad with different colorful vegetables in it, which is going to give you a slower delivery. So it's the large overflow of antioxidants from supplementation that does that. Since the half-life of vitamin C is on the order of 6 hours in the body, you wouldn't want to take vitamin C in the few hours before a workout or in the 1 hour afterwards. That doesn't mean that you can't have it at other times, because the free radicals will get quenched by the vegetables you're eating, the healthy food you're eating anyway. And as long as the free radicals get to work on your muscles for an hour or so, then you're fine taking the vitamin C. It increases iron absorption. So if iron levels are low, then vitamin C supplementation is a good idea. And it increases cross-linking in collagen filaments, so it increases connective tissue strength. There's reasons for taking vitamin C, but timing is everything. Just like refueling right away, You don't want antioxidants right away. And so we can think about how to manipulate these things in our day so that we have the benefits without the downside. So in terms of other supplements, I put here in green macronutrient supplements that the IOC and the ISSN feel could potentially be beneficial if somebody is low in those. And then I put in blue specific compounds, creatine and carbonate to reduce acidity for strength training, caffeine for endurance training, beta alanine. It combines with histidine to make carnosine inside of muscle. So carbonate reduces the acidity in the bloodstream, and alanine will reduce acidity within muscle fibers. And so that combination will give you a lower acidity in both locations, which then translates to a slightly higher power output in studies with humans. But again, food first. If a supplement helps you, it's a red flag. You should be worried. Look at your nutrition. But if it might be limiting you in spite of good nutrition, then as long as there's no downside, then that's fine. And you can use vitamin mineral tablet as a backup. Just try to get it from a reputable source where they do certification outside of their company to test for purity. So here's my top 10 sports nutrition myths that we're going to bust. Number one, high carb is good, or that low carb is good. The reality is that keeping your glycogen in your muscles at normal level is good. So you could refuel right after a workout and then go low carb. If you don't refuel, then you need to have carbohydrates in your meals. But a little bit of that will go to body fat. So if you're trying to maximize your power to weight ratio, it's better to kind of flip-flop between a high refuel and a moderate or a lower amount of carbohydrate in your meals. But going low in carb in both, not a good idea. And going high in carbohydrate where you don't have protein, fats, and vegetables to slow it down, that can roller coaster your bloodstream. So you go from hyper to hypoglycemic, also not a good idea. So it's really about the rate of delivery. And with the refuel, the rate later can be lower. That's a power to weight ratio target. Number two, high fat, low carb dieting generally increases exercise fat burning. So what the adaptation to higher fat burning by eating a lot of fats and depleting carbohydrates has some truth. Your body will burn fats higher, but to a greater extent, but that's only 1/3 the power. So you can't, as carb burning, ATP is generated 3 times slower from fat burning. So you can't train as high an intensity. So in the end, you don't burn either fats or carbohydrates as fast if you do 8 weeks of high fat intake to try to adapt to fat use. Number three, fat makes fat. And so as if fats don't have any impact on cell function, hormone response, gene expression, transcriptional impact, fats have a huge impact on these cellular functions. It is not just a calorie count issue. Number four, protein post-exercise is critical. The delivery rate of amino acids into muscle does not drop over the course of 1 to 2 to even 3 hours. Protein right after exercise is important if you want to heal every single hour of your day. But if you're just consuming protein and not refueling, you're going to urinate most of that protein out, won't even use most of it because you can't accelerate amino acid assembly just from fats generating ATP as a fuel source for the ribosomes that assemble the amino acids. You want a strong, stable blood sugar to accelerate ATP production even further so that you use 2 to 3 times your baseline protein needs. So it is not true that protein by itself can function in isolation. Protein is the blocks that makes the building, your muscle. The fats and the carbohydrates are the workers. So if you've got carbohydrates, you triple the rate that the work is done. You can't just have bricks and expect a house or a muscle fiber to be generated from that. You need the fuel, the workers, to do the assembly. Number 6, if vitamin, mineral, antioxidant supplements help, keep taking them. No, it's a red flag that your nutrition might be off. If you want to use them as a backup, that's fine. But if they actually generate not just the placebo effect, you need to look at your nutrition. Number 7, sodium is bad, potassium is good. You don't lose much potassium. So if supplementing with potassium means your muscles are probably too low in fuel and cramping for that. So it's another red flag. And sodium is about a 1/4 teaspoon per liter of perspiration. And if you don't replace that, then you won't be able to hold on to all your fluids. You'll drink water all day long and you'll have clear urine. You'll think you're hydrated, but you're constantly just passing it through because there's not enough sodium to hold on to it. So you don't need a lot of sodium. If you're losing less than 1% of your body weight in a workout, you don't need to add any. If you're losing 2% or more of your weight in a workout as perspiration, then if you're eating, soup and you eat out half the time, you're going to get more than enough salt. But if you're eating really clean and you're losing 2% or more of your weight as perspiration, that's where you want to start systematically adding sodium back in, so in the small amount that you're losing it, so that you can retain your fluids. Number 8, if you drink a lot of water, you're hydrated. Absolutely not true. If you're too high in sodium, you'll lose fluids until the kidneys are able to clear it out. You'll end up dehydrated from that. If you're too low in sodium, you can't hold on to your water. It just passes through, and again, you're dehydrated. Number 9, eat based on how you feel. Adrenaline and cortisol reduce our hunger perception, and those hormones are released to help us wake up, and they're released during exercise. So those are the 2 times in your day where you're in the deepest calorie deficit, where you're losing muscle mass at the fastest rate. So we have the lowest perception of nutrient need when we're in the deepest deficit and therefore need nutrients the most. So if you're just going to eat when you're hungry, then you're more likely to wait until 3 in the afternoon and 9 o'clock at night. Number 10, overtraining is usually caused by overtraining. No, it's usually caused, 83% of the documented cases in the published research, 83% of overtraining is caused by undernutrition and therefore underhealing. So in summary, we've looked at the fact that one critical piece missing in your nutrient flow can undo the efficiency of using all the other things that you're doing right. Second, we looked at the importance of having at least a trickle flow of calories so that you don't spend too many hours in your day in a deeper deficit than 1/4 of your daily needs, or even a single hour deeper than 50% of your daily needs. Third, we looked at how the importance of protecting lean tissue with a steady flow of some carbohydrate and amino acids evenly throughout the day, where the blood sugar is important to utilize and assemble more of the amino acids that you're eating. Fourth, we looked at the importance of nourishment, the quality of vegetables and unsaturated fats to round out your recovery meals. Fifth, we looked at hydration and electrolytes and put it together for the big picture. And lastly here, busted our sports nutrition myths and made the point that if a supplement helps you, that's a red flag. Doesn't mean you need to stop taking it. Just start looking at your nutrition a little bit harder. This is Dr. Clyde, and I'll see you in another course.